to jump a distance of 7 meters 13. Yeah, I honestly still can't even believe it. Long jump in athletics means the absolute world to me. It's something that I don't take for granted anymore. I've been through so much throughout my career and have learnt to really appreciate being an athlete, being a long jumper. I feel like I've always been a pretty resilient person and athlete. There's definitely been a lot of challenging times throughout my career, having been diagnosed with 2 autoimmune diseases, as well as having had numerous injuries. When I was, in some pretty dark places, I just, remembered why I do what I do, and I do it because I love it. So since being diagnosed with celiac disease, my outlook on health has changed significantly. It's an extremely challenging thing being an athlete and living with celiac disease, as well as another autoimmune disease, Hashimoto's disease. But I do my best to manage both of them as well as possible. I don't think a lot of people realise the extent of having celiac disease, and it means that you can't have any gluten at all in your diet. It's not just a food intolerance. When you do consume gluten, it can cause bowel damage and inflammation, which then leads to you being unable to absorb nutrients properly, and a whole list of other symptoms associated with that. So it's something that I try really hard not let stress me out too much whilst I am traveling, but it does make things a lot more challenging. I tend to not eat out at restaurants or cafes whilst I'm away when I'm in competition mode, because I just can't trust that the food that I am eating is going to be 100% safe, because being an athlete, you've got to show up and perform at your best every single competition, and it's not worth risking centimetres off your jump because you feel a little bit unwell. So having celiac disease, basically if you consume one breadcrumb, it can lead to damage to your small intestine and inflammation and all the other things that come with it. And I don't think people realise the extent of that. There is a lot of challenges that come with being celiac and having Hashimoto's, but at the end of the day, it's really just about checking in with your health as frequently as possible, looking after yourself, which I've really learnt to do over the years. Both your physical and mental health is super important. In the back of my mind, every time I travel, I'm worried about what I'm eating, being celiac. I'm worried about whether there's going to be food options for me, whether the food options are even going to be safe. There is a lot of stress around living with celiac disease and being an athlete. My dad's been coaching me since I was, I think, 10 years old. So yeah, I couldn't really imagine it any other way, and he's basically learnt everything he knows along the way through mentors.
It's been such a great journey for both of us, We've learned a heap of stuff, like along the way, and about life and about each other and about the sport.
It's so special to be able to travel the world with your father, having him coaching you and being able to ride the highs and lows. It's something that I never would have imagined.
There's only a few parents that, coach their own kids at international meets.
Some days I might rock up to training and just not feel 100%, and that's just the beauty of living with 2 autoimmune diseases. You're not going to feel great every day, and he's super understanding of that.
It's funny because a lot of people ask me this, but I'm more proud of the person she actually is. She doesn't, for what she's achieved and everything, she doesn't strut around the track like she's, oh, I'm this and this. She's really humble in what she does and everything like that. So I'm so proud of the person that she's actually turned out to be.
So 6 years and 4 months after jumping my previous Australian record and my previous personal best, I honestly didn't expect this season after coming back from knee surgery. I can't fathom the fact that that's, what happened not long after getting back into the pit after a pretty lengthy recovery with my knee. But it just goes to show that anything's possible, and if you keep pursuing your dreams and you keep putting in the hard work, keep showing up, you're destined for good things. I still pinch myself every day, knowing what I've achieved in my sport. I do think I have more in me. It's kind of crazy to think that I did jump 7:13 coming back from knee surgery. My quad actually is probably the strongest it's been in a long time as well, so I'd like to think that that might help me launch into the pit further. It means everything to wear the green and gold. As I said, it was something that I dreamt of since I was in grade 1 representing Australia. It's always such a huge honour, and not many people get to do it. You're in a small percentage of athletes that do get to represent your country, so it's really just about making the most of it and realising what a privilege it is as well.